Hey everybody, Greco Fabulous here, and welcome to a series that I like to call Thrifting to Collect. Now, for those of you familiar with my work, you know that philosophically, I hate to spend money, which is the main reason why I'm still married, because getting divorced is so gosh darn expensive that I'd rather live in misery than to be poor. And that directly translates to my toy collecting, because one of the main happy moments in my life is knowing that I can look behind me, look what's in storage, look at this collection that I've amassed, and honestly say that at this point, I've either gotten it for free or that I'm getting paid to collect. So that's what I want to accomplish in these videos. Document the process of how I uncover valuable items that might not initially mean anything to me, but that I can turn into toy money that I can use to pull the trigger when the opportunity finally presents itself to add something to my collection. I have a dream! This is pretty neat, a Lego Star Wars Boba Fett clock, but he's missing his antenna, so otherwise I would have picked it up, but for $7, not really worth it. Yes, so admittedly that live footage sucked. And yes, I want to do a better job of storytelling. But listen, there's a lot of competition in my area. And as much as I want to be the greatest YouTuber of all time, I'm not going to miss out on a deal because I'm out there dinking around my camera. So I'm always going to get the sure thing first and then worry about the story afterwards. So now that we've gotten through that, let's see what I actually came away with, because this was one heck of a trip. So let's do a quick run through of some of the items I found. So here we got an Xbox One white controller with the battery cover, and it is tested and does work. Then there was also this black version. Unfortunately, this one I'm a little iffy about. If you open it up, and this is just a tip for you guys, definitely check your stuff out if you're allowed to before purchasing. So as you can see here, there's kind of a puncture hole right there, and that's because that is a screw right there that allows you access to the innards of this controller, which means this is probably like attempted to be repaired. So when I did plug it into a gamepad tester, it does work. The only thing is there does seem to be a little bit of a slight drift with this joystick right here, so I'm not 100% sold on how to list it yet. I might try to clean that up. But either way, for $4.99, it was still worth picking up, even if it does end up being just for repair or parts. Then, sticking with the controller theme, there was this PS4 DualShock controller right there. This has been tested and worked. Cosmetically, there's a little bit of residue right there, but still definitely conservatively worth somewhere between $25-30 right there. Then I grabbed this guy. This is a Sony cassette player, but it also has a built-in microphone. I believe the model number is a TCM-200DV. I've actually come across this before, so I knew just from experience that it does have some value. Dear Diary, it's been 3 months and they still haven't found that hitchhiker's body. I think I'm going to get away with it. Another thing that you want to be aware of is sometimes with these cassette players, the bands on the insides get a little worn, so like the playback can sound a little wonky because the bands are maybe too loose. I knew this is worth picking up. I think it cost me like $3.99, and as you can see by the comps here, it's definitely worth grabbing when it is in working order. And then one thing which I was super excited to find, but unfortunately it's not as good as it looks, is this iPhone. Yes, I did find a working and in very good cosmetically shape iPhone 7. I looked up the serial number. It looks to be on a 128 gig version, rose gold colored. Unfortunately, and this was a lesson learned for me, is if the previous owner with any iPhone or iPad doesn't factory reset it or log out, it goes into what is called an activation lock, which means that unless you can kind of guess their PIN or know their like iTunes password, you're not going to be able to do anything with this device. I'm going to try to sell it for parts, which is, again, it's too bad because it is in perfect working condition, but just something to be aware of if you're out there buying items secondhand. And here we have an official Apple Thunderbolt 3 USB-C to Thunderbolt 2 adapter. Now, you don't have to be a super techie nerd to know that Apple stuff is really good about having value, and it's already sold. I literally had it up there for less than a day, and it sold for my asking price plus shipping. Now, here's something. When I first saw it, I didn't really know what it was, but it caught my eye as something peculiar, and thankfully I did check it out because it ended up not only being pretty valuable, but it sold instantly. This is an Instax wireless Bluetooth printer. And if you're not familiar with Instax, it's basically nowadays what Polaroid used to be as far as an instant camera company. So this guy right here, you connect it to a device through Bluetooth and it'll print out instant pictures once you load it with Fuji compatible film. So this guy, I threw it on eBay. I think it was like $75 plus shipping or best offer, and within a day it sold for asking price. So then I made my way to the toys section, and even though my toys are number one, they're near and dear to my heart, I have to admit, at least in this store, I'm not really hitting too hard on the toys. I'm having way more luck with electronics and games. But this time around, I finally did find some items. So I found some vintage TMNT figures. I got the Sewer Surfer right here, which I've had a million of these guys. And then the wrestler version of Michelangelo right here. So these guys were bagged together, and I think they were $2.99 a piece. So I was just thrilled to find any vintage toys, TMNT especially. So I grabbed those two guys. And then in another baggie, I found kind of a mishmash of some other things. So we definitely have this cheapskate vehicle right here. Not 100% complete by any means, but still vintage, and the foot action still works. I almost just defingered myself. Probably not the right medical term, but something that you can laugh at. And then mixed into these baggies as well were some kind of loose, newer figures, it looks like. And then this was a learning experience for me. I knew they looked vintage TMNT, but I wasn't sure where they were from. But they actually come from a like gags and jokes kind of little gift set, which is kind of neat. So I'll be throwing those up at some point. Again, nothing for me that I want to collect or that I need for my collection. I'm mainly sticking to the mint on card 10 backs with a few exceptions, but pretty cool and happy to find nonetheless. Oh, and I found this sausage link. Daddy, would you like some sausage? And then I also picked up this guy because he's cool looking. This is a World of Warcraft figure. I believe he is supposed to come with like a staff, which is not available unfortunately, but I did grab him because I figured he was cool looking enough. I apologize for that indecent exposure right there. And then I found these very cool Simpsons chess pieces from 1992. They were separated into two different baggies priced at $2.99 each. Now, it didn't seem to be like crazy lucrative, but I thought, you know, Simpsons are pretty popular. Someone's going to want them. And I was right. I actually had a viewer reach out, someone who I've met in person, asking about them. And I think I gave them a pretty darn good deal. And kind of rounding out the trip here, I did pick up a few more things. I found this vintage Texas Instruments Speak and Spell. This one's from 1980, and this is the one that was made popular in E.T. And it still works, so that's pretty cool. These, I don't know how long they will take to sell, but they do have some value when they do. Nothing crazy. Rounding us off, just sticking with VHS. Nothing that's going to make me rich. I mean, these aren't $1,000 sealed Poltergeist tapes, but some iconic movies, Jurassic Park and Commando, the CBS Fox version. Again, nothing traditionally worth too much, but something I would throw up on Whatnot for like $5 or less a piece, and would probably be an instant sell. So as long as you're getting them for $1 a piece or less, you know, worth it just to kind of bring the traffic in and make $1 or $2. All right, guys, so that's everything I picked up all in one visit to the thrift shop. So not bad for a day's worth of work, but you know what they say, you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. Doesn't really apply here, that's just what they say. So everything that you saw here today, I picked up for a grand total of, I believe, $42.55. Now, I will admit, disclaimer, I did use a 20% off coupon, so the original price was a little higher than that, But based on what I've already sold, I'm already in the profit, and with everything else that's left over, I believe that I can bring back somewhere between 4 and 5 times what I put into it. And that's how you do what I do. So thanks for watching the first episode of Thrifting to Collect, or Thrift to Collect, whatever the hell I'm going to call this thing. This is your tried and true method. If you follow these simple steps, you can be as successful as me. But probably not. But don't go to my place of business, okay? Because you're going to ruin the whole thing. So just stay away. Find your own spot. Thanks for watching, you lot lizards. Bye! What was your favorite pickup of the day? Comment below. Just kidding, I don't care.